Allow me to introduce a woman that needs little introduction, the president of the New York State NAACP and lifelong activist. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Hazel Dukes.
Good morning. That meditation really set me up. Yeah. Let me recognize for myself several people in this audience that I've had the chance to work with over my 3 decades of being in the civil rights movement. And one of my highest priority in this movement is education. And so I had the privilege to work with, disagree, come to the table face to face with chancellors over the years. And I'm pleased today that Harold Levy, our former chancellor for the New York City School, is here. When Chancellor Levy was here in New York, no one can do everything. No one is perfect. I don't want to sound like the other people out there. But I do believe that when we come together, what you have gathered here this morning to do, we can make an impact. One of my sheroes, Sandy Johnson, Cynthia Williams, heroes, John Rose, all of you this morning, to mere fact that you was here around 8 and 8:30 are heroes and sheroes. How many of you read New York Times editorial yesterday? No one read the editorial? Only one? Well, they crucified NAACP again yesterday, said we misguided.
Charleston. The Charleston issue.
Yes, but they said we were misguided.
Oh, no.
NAACP, I want to set the record straight. NAACP have never and will never tell parents where to send their children to school. That's not the objective of NAACP. Parents have a right to make choices for their children, no one else. We can help guide them. But as long as breath is in my body, I will fight for the majority of our children, whether they are immigrants, whether they are black, whether they are Hispanic, whatever. I want every child that is born to have an opportunity for them to have caring, loving guardians, parents, grandparents, aunts, whatever. And for our schools to be welcoming and teachers seeing a child not by their zip code or by their address, but a child that come in a classroom to be educated. Now, why am I here this morning? Let me give you some background. I was born in Montgomery, Alabama. Rosa Parks was my Sunday school teacher at Hope Street Baptist Church. We lived in the same neighborhood. My Sunday school superintendent lived in my neighborhood and was the principal of the elementary school. And so I come this morning with a wide range of caring persons who thought that every child was important. I come today from a Christian foundation, home, 2 parents, grandparents, and had a chance to see a great-grandparent. I didn't understand, didn't know at that age what that meant. But all of that was the family nucleus. I come from a long line of educators. Why didn't I go into education? It bothers me. But maybe I shouldn't have been the teacher. I should be here making teachers be the teacher, making the principal and the chancellors be what they say that they want to be. So I've spent my life looking back at the history of Montgomery, Alabama, looking at the history of my father being a Pullman porter and then coming to New York, where I saw a different life. But knowing that addresses and your location makes a difference. Charles Dickens is very true. There's a tale of two education systems. And now we come to three. And so today, for those of you who came to this first Collective Impact Summit, that meditation was right on. We don't need to come and rehash what's been wrong with our education system. We all know, so why would we spend our time this morning talking about what's been wrong? What we need to focus on now is how we make it right. Since Brown versus the Board of Education, it cannot be segregation. Every child should have the opportunity and the right to be provided with education. We should not have a system where only a few elites can go to selected schools. That's not what we should have here in America. And so today you come together, providers, educators, lay people, to talk about how we make a collective impact. Each one of you in this room this morning bring something to the table. Your interests, you as parents, you as young millennials who have made it through the education system in some of the best colleges. So you are here today to help shape how we move through the 21st century on into the next century with quality and equitable education. Now, NAACP, under my leadership, we brought the suit against the city of New York. Let me just tell you why we brought that suit. Because we were seeing that in certain co-location schools, discrimination was being played out through our eyes. When you can have two schools in the same building, computers freshly painted, and then children on the other side in dilapidated classrooms, no computers, playgrounds taken away, art, music classes taken away. That is discrimination, plain and simple. And I cannot stand by to see that happen. And one of the things when we visit a school with principals, we were told that their children couldn't even go on the floor of the newly minted, gorgeous places. What psychologically did that do to a child? In an education system where we are to bring people together, if you're teaching, to give people a view of a different world, it's okay that we know that we have to live in certain locations. But in a school system, in a schoolhouse, in an institution, it should be that we were bringing children together and not separating them, to learn them, to teach them about the real essence of education. And so today, with all that backdrop that we know, that maybe you have not visited, but it is true. We today coming with these young people who have done a tremendous job. Brian, just let me give you a shout out for your passion, energy. When I met with Brian and Tamisha, I thought they were going to have a real revolution. I thought they was going to turn the world upside down just talking to me. And I saw the passion in them, and I said, my goodness, here's two young people who are not thinking about what has happened in the past. They want to move us forward. And so I said, yes, I would come and be a part of seeing what ideas that you will put forth out of this group and how we will implement that. It's not for us just to come and have a conversation this morning. It is for us to come together, to move, to have an impact on what we need to do in this city. And when I look around and see the demographic of different age groups, different nationalities, different genders here, what more group would you put together on an early Friday morning at 8 o'clock? You know that each one of you care and will share in this first annual impact, collective impact. It didn't say I, me, it said collective. That means everyone in this room will be offering some idea. An idea is born today, and tomorrow and the next day and the next day, we will begin to say how we will implement and how we will go forward as a collective group. No one can do this alone, but collectively, we can change the system, we can change the thinking, we can change the way that people will perform. All of this is accomplished in what this first annual collective impact is about this morning. So again, let me congratulate you for 7 o'clock this morning and 8 o'clock to get here, that we collectively can move the needle. We might not get all the way to a full tank today, but if we move the needle just a little bit with all of this collective thinking in here, and as we go to the next step to think about implementation, we will do that. Now, I believe that education is a civil right. It's a civil right because it should be put back on the front burner. Education has been moved back and back and back, and that's why we have the disparity. That's why we have the argument, what is good and what is bad. I think our argument should be that all education should be excellent, not good, but excellent. I say, some people say, well, the NAACP is in the union pocket. Further from the truth. I wouldn't care if you belong to 12 unions. If you're a teacher or you're a professional and you can't do your job, you have to go. I believe in bargaining. I believe that people have a right. No one just should be fired at will. No one should be punished because the difference in attitudes, or the like or dislike. It should be on performance. Performance is what I'm looking for. Performance of quality. Performance of excellence. So every teacher that takes this as a profession should realize that that's a calling. Education is just as much of a calling as a minister who's ordained to preach the gospel. Teachers are ordained, in my eyesight, because I had some of the most precious teachers. I feared teachers and loved teachers like I did my parents. That's a unique quality that Sandy Johnson had when she would go into the housing to night programs. That's what PS 97 had down at Ringel houses. Oliver knew every kid that came out of Ringel houses. When they got there and he said good morning and they didn't say good morning, he knew something had happened before Johnny entered. And instead of putting him in a classroom or the young lady in a classroom, he had a special room that child would go into, calm down, talk about the issues. So when they got into the classroom, they was not disrupted. They were there to learn and to understand. And so all of those things might sound foreign to some of us, but today with your ideas, what do we do with children who have so many ills? I live here in Harlem. The chair of Community Board 10, education chair is here. When we hear the stories of the parents of the children and what they go through just to get to a classroom, then you know that the collective impact on us have to include what happened to children who come to us with ills, so many that they are not responsible for, our society is responsible for. And in New York City, our public school teachers and principals and administrators have a humongous job. Our public schools is like the Statue of Liberty. Come, hungry, tired, clothesless, no parents, foster care parents. They're not asked what their status is. Come. And so when you begin to put your ideas on the table today to move forward, remember all of those things that we as a society have imposed on those who are born and those who are yet unborn, that if we want to move forward to have an America that we all are proud of, the real democracy, we must start at the basic, which is education. You tell me, if you are educated, that your world, just not to add, just not to be the STEM, but the educational wideness where you accept people from all backgrounds, all races, all creeds. When you're educated, you can do that. That will make America be the democracy that we all want in our lifetime and want to leave, not just on our tombstone the day we was born and the day we died. What happened in that dash? So that's what you'll do here this morning, collective ideas. But remember, in our collective ideas, we have to be inclusive of all that brings America together. That is those who have and those who have not. But they have to be included in the collective thinking this morning. Thank you for having me. Have a great day while I get on the plane.